Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to the Audio Analyst. Pardon me, my baby. I know I love you too, baby. Last weekend, after the COVID-19 pandemic and its associated lockdowns had precluded the 2020 and 2021 events, after fully 3 years, the Renaissance Convention Center Hotel in Schaumburg, Illinois, opened its doors to us as JD Events launched its rousing comeback event, Audio Expo North America 2022. Now, what has clearly become the largest and most internationally significant audio show in the United States, AXPONA 2022, with over 500 exhibitors and brands, welcomed 7,596 unique participants, including many more ladies than I had expected, and some 98 members of the press. The two live music events also showed record attendance, with 220 people catching Chicago bluesman Toronzo Cannon Friday evening, and over 300 attending Capitol artist Lori Lieberman's event on Saturday. My sincere thanks to Liz Smith, Vice President and Event Director of AXPONA for JD Events, for these numbers. Now, completed in 2006, this upscale facility offers a thoughtfully designed and laid out floor plan with its ample and inviting public spaces, its beautiful atrium, and 16-floor, 500-room hotel centrally contained, with the two-storied larger venues and meeting rooms all to the east. Now, to say that this was a successful and enjoyable event would be the severest of understatements. It was an amazing time. I mean, for the first time in 3 years, the largest U.S. contingent of manufacturers, their representatives, dealers, industry specialists, retailers, audiophiles, music lovers, and end users of all these magical music-making items got to come together as a community again, something our industry sorely relies upon for sustained growth and innovation. And everyone was not only ready for this event, but they were also in great spirits, smiling, chatting, and eagerly engaging with one another and with the magic of the music being played. Now, next week, I'll offer a recap of the 5 most musical and engaging systems I heard over the weekend at AXPONA 2022. But today, we have a very special announcement from an industry giant, an accomplished and remarkably successful speaker designer, and a man I'm happy to say I have had the pleasure of knowing since the late 1990s, Andrew Jones. Now, those of you familiar with the channel will recall that Andrew has graced us with 5 previous appearances here on the channel, episodes 40 through 44, where he shared his remarkable journey from KEF in the 1980s through Infinity, Pioneer, TAD, all the way up to ELAC. But it was early in the spring of 2020 when I had a call from Andrew, and he excitedly shared with me that he was going to be leaving ELAC and that he would have some very big news to announce by summer. But it was just weeks later, the COVID-19 lockdowns came and put everything, not just his plans, on hold for well over a year and a half. Well, then, the week before I headed off to AXPONA, Andrew chatted me to say that he was going to be able to make his big announcement at the show over the coming weekend, and he was kind enough to carve out some time Saturday afternoon to sit down with me to share the news in some detail with us here. Here is that conversation. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel today. We're here at AXPONA. We're in the hallway of our hotel, the Renaissance, where the show is, and ran into my buddy Andrew Jones, who has a big announcement for the planet. It was kind of cool. I knew this was coming, but had no details. But Andrew, if you're not aware, is one of the most innovative and prolific designers for the past, as you prefer to say, the past 5 decades, starting with KEF back in the 80s. What's the great news, buddy? Tell us what's going on.
So I've moved to a new company,
Yes, you did.
and it's MoFi.
Yes. No, no marketing there.
They did ask me to wear this shirt.
Yeah, sure. I have two of them.
It's a new challenge.
Yeah.
It's nothing about ELAC. I enjoyed my time at ELAC.
Sure.
Still friends with them. Friends with the new designer they've got there. And but I like the challenge of creating new things. And so this idea came up that MoFi have honestly started with the recordings,
Right.
repressings, but they also have distribution. They have sales arm.
Right.
They have a manufacturing arm, which is MoFi Electronics, who started making turntables and phono preamps and various bits of electronics. They've been thinking for a while of adding speakers. And, you know, you can say, who needs yet another speaker?
Well.
Right? Who needs Andrew?
Well, yeah.
Another speaker company. But the idea is that they can sort of complete the chain.
Sure.
From the recording to the end result. And that sort of excites me. It's nothing about closest approach to the original sound or what I used to say, the original artistic intent. But it is about, I enjoy that aspect of being closer to the recording process.
Sure.
You know, even with TAD, it came out of a professional background.
Sure. Yeah.
So once I joined them, or started the TAD home division, I had access to studios. I used to go to Air Studios and places like that. You get to know both the engineers, the producers, musicians, and you get to understand what they're trying to do.
What they want to accomplish.
What are they trying to communicate?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily just about the sound of the music, you know, but they're also doing all sorts of tricks in a mix to make things stand out.
Sure.
And it's good to understand that.
Right.
So being part of a company that is involved in that whole process has its attractions to me. At the same time, opportunities to design new stuff, new price points. Maybe even at some point the promise of going up back into the high end. You know, I really enjoy doing the high end.
Sure.
And it's great to be given the freedom to create something sort of cost no object.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everything really is cost objective because you've always got competition.
Sure.
It's not like I would be the only one doing a flagship.
Right.
But it's fun being relatively unconstrained.
I can only imagine.
On the other hand, I've clearly had fun going right
At
to
the other
bottom.
end. Yeah.
And that $100 speaker that we started with Pioneer, that then the Mark II version was $129, that isn't actually the lowest cost speaker I've designed. I did something for one of the chains many, many years ago, and it was a $39 per speaker.
Oh my God.
But even that, you know...
That had to be a challenge.
Yes.
To hit that price point.
The point.
Yeah.
What can you do when you got
No money to work with.
Right? The Pioneer was almost no money. That was like almost the definition of literally no money.
God.
So I've had tremendous fun when we went from Pioneer to ELAC products. It was the next price point upwards.
Yeah.
There's no point in directly competing against that.
Right.
And it's only just now gone out of production, I believe.
Okay.
So did all the things with ELAC and had lots of success.
Good success. Yeah, absolutely.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. And the nice thing about the twin screen high-end and affordable is lots of people, by definition, can afford the affordable
Absolutely.
speakers.
You can touch more souls that way musically. You get to more people.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's both an ego thing.
Sure.
Having people say, "Oh, I like your speakers," and yeah, that feels good. But it's also that emotionally you're allowing people access to music that, in a way that they wouldn't have been able
To afford
have,
otherwise.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And ultimately, that's
Yeah.
what it's about. But this is now a different style of opportunity to develop things.
Now, didn't they at one point like drop a hint that if you were ever thinking about making a move?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not poaching, it's just,
No.
you know, if you're ever thinking of doing something, and at that point I didn't really know what it meant, because I wasn't really thinking that they were hand manufacturing.
Right.
But then as we talked a bit more, realised, no, they're thinking about this. So I thought, that might be interesting. And it just developed in a way that it looked as though it was giving me some different kind of creative
Opportunities.
freedom and opportunities.
Sure.
So, in the end, I decided that probably I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of, I said, look, none of us know what's happening. I know my job is safe as long as the company is safe, but let's just take the time to reevaluate through COVID.
Sure.
And as we came, well, not really out of it, but you know, a year later,
Yeah.
landscape, we understood what was
Well, it
happening.
was a pretty wise decision not to make a jump in the middle of something so
Right.
unknown.
I mean, it's been bad, obviously, for a lot of
Sure,
people.
absolutely.
And that's sad, but for a lot of people in our industry, it's been
Pretty good, actually.
So, finally I decided that we'd do this. And it was a very sad day walking in to my friends at ELAC that had come with me to ELAC and going, guys, I've decided to do this.
Take another position.
Yeah, I was really afraid that we'd ruin a very long friendship.
Yeah.
But we're good.
Yeah.
And I was even joking at this show, because to announce at this show that I'm with MoFi,
Yes.
and then look at the room layout.
That is so funny. I was down on 3 today.
MoFi, ELAC, MoFi,
Yeah.
MoFi.
Yeah, I was down on the 3rd floor today, and I saw that the ELAC room's right in the corner, and you've got 2 here and 2 here. It's hysterical.
So
Yeah,
Chris is trapped
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I've been going in and out,
Sure.
and joking with him. Actually, their room has been quite crowded. I walked in one day with a full crowd in there. I said, Chris, this is not fair to be paying people to come in here to make me feel bad. But I've also had a lot of chats with their new designer.
Yeah,
They brought in Oleg, who used to be with Paradigm.
yeah.
He's a really good guy. And we have a history back a long time ago. When I first joined Pioneer, he was a driver engineer in PSSA, which is our car division. That
Okay.
was in
Oh,
San
yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
And I know
You
other
said that,
people
yeah.
who were there. So it's a small world. And
High-end audio is a really tiny world,
Yeah.
but yeah.
yeah. So it was good to reconnect
Yeah.
with him and wish him well and things. So, and we had dinner
Well,
together.
and Paradigm has had some pretty good success over the years, too.
Yes, and that last series, the
Yeah.
higher end series, funnily enough, as I was leaving TAD, I've got a very close friend who's a dealer in Sweden, a TAD dealer, and he was looking, if I'm no longer with TAD, does he look also for an additional line to bolster up things, because he doesn't know what's going to happen with
Right.
TAD.
Right.
He chose those paradigms,
Yeah.
and he loves them. So it gives me good confidence that they've got a really good guy,
Yeah.
and I can feel
You can feel comfortable
less
about
guilty.
you can feel comfortable about
Like
stepping away and knowing they're
dicks
well
them.
served.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm with MoFi, and I get the chance to start fresh,
Yeah.
which is good and also fearful. Staring at this blank piece of paper, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Well, I can
Well-
see where it would be a little bit intimidating, but for a guy like you, it's also got to be like exhilarating as hell.
Oh, it is. Yes.
I mean, Andrew, you've been doing this so long that I can't imagine that it would be anything other than kind of like an excitement.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about this is that I'm always, maybe too often, thinking about speakers. You know, when my wife says, you were talking about speakers in your sleep, rather than talking about girls in my sleep, I guess.
Oh.
The idea that there's always something new you can be thinking about.
Sure.
And also, at any particular moment, some of those ideas are never going to be appropriate for the situation you're in,
Of course.
but maybe in some future situation. So then you start that new situation, oh, wait a minute,
I thought about that there. Yeah.
And so I started thinking, and even before deciding on the direction for the product, I came up with some ideas of technical ways of improving speakers, and we've actually applied.
You said you have
patents
patents.
on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're applied
Well,
for
not
patent.
we don't.
You're
have
patent
patents,
pending, right? You applied for it.
We've made the provisional patent application.
Right.
The question is, do you pursue that all the way to a patent? It depends on cost
Sure.
and things
Right.
like that.
Well, and the other side of that is how far you want to spend money because of actually needing the protection. You know, I mean.
Yes, and getting that protection,
Yeah.
or keeping that protection is very expensive,
Yeah.
and you have
Yeah.
to decide, was it worth it?
Worth it, yep.
I've been in patent fights before, so, but at least you can say, I did that first. And if it's already been applied for, you can't then someone else try and patent the idea.
Right.
If you terminate the application, so it becomes prior art. So
Okay.
did those kind of things. So those were things to work on for the future, not thinking that they can go immediately into the
Right.
product.
Right.
There are concepts to explore.
Right.
And then start to think about the product ideas. And obviously that's done in conjunction with, although I say I've got complete creative freedom, there's still a framework
Of course.
that you have to
There's a
work
business you have,
with.
the
There's a
model you have
business.
to work within.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what is that framework? What are their ideas of what they'd like to do? Because I did say in the initial talks, I know you've been trying to put together a business plan, but once I join, I could look at it and go, you can't do it like that. So, you know, this kind of reworking everything and deciding what price points and things like that. So, it's a slow process.
Sure.
But it also, starting anew, like you say, you have a certain degree, you relax and go, okay, pressure's off for all these products I'm trying to get into production.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to do but think of what I could be doing. And that's invigorating. So,
Well, now you mentioned, I think, some target price points in around the $2,000 price range.
it'll be the $2,000,
Okay.
$3,000 $1,000
Okay.
probably, you know, that middle range that's still relatively affordable. And the idea is it still wants to be really good value at that price point.
Yeah.
And you look at
Well, and you've done really well in that price range before,
I
buddy.
have,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's not an entirely new market for you.
No.
You know, I mean, so yeah.
the Dante was in that
Yeah.
price range.
Yeah.
So, in a way, I'm not abandoning the idea of high performance, affordable speakers. And
Sure.
is it affordable or very, very affordable, like some of the
other stuff, yeah.
And I don't want people to feel that, oh, Andrew's now going to forget about us. No, I put plenty of product out that's very affordable, and that's going to continue.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I was talking with Chris I'm talking with the new engineer, and he's saying, yeah, I mean, that is still really popular.
Yeah.
I don't need to change
Why
that,
would you change it? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll do other things
Yeah.
until there's a need to readdress that
Absolutely.
marketplace
Sure.
when there's a natural need
Sure.
to do so. It's not like they're going to force it and kill it, right? Kill the golden goose.
No.
So I now get to think of what I would do in these other price points to bring value to other people.
Well, I suspect there will be certain Andrew Jones traits that will carry over to these speakers.
You could say that. I
Yeah, I
suppose.
mean, Andrew, I suspect there's going to be some coincident drivers, perhaps.
It's possibly no coincidence that See, I've been thinking of that tag. I've been waiting to tell that tagline. You know, I will never abandon coincident driving.
yeah.
So that's part of my plans of things I can introduce that have that. But it doesn't have to be exclusively.
Yeah, no, I realize it, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know people are expecting that. Well, of course he's doing.
What else would he do?
What else would he do?
Yeah.
One-trick pony.
No, well, look, you find something that makes a significant difference that you can make better over time, and it becomes better over time, and it's a good system to begin with. Why not just keep improving it if it's going to be good for you?
Yeah.
And it's not like you haven't been familiar with that kind of a drug. I mean, that started at KEF back in
About 89?
the late 80s.
Late
Yeah.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a fresh thought for you. I'm sure you can still do things with that. And it's the technology itself makes sense. It's a good way to launch everything and keep it.
Some people like the idea. Other people point out flaws in the concept, such as, well, you've got a moving waveguide around.
Well,
it, so
yeah,
you get depth distortion, and they don't quite understand what is happening. But there are ways of dealing with that to a bigger or lesser extent.
No, can you deal with that with networks, or is that
No,
it's a mechanical.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So it's given me lots of time to think about those kind of things. Also, regular drivers, magnet structures.
Sure.
So all of this is going to be custom as usual. I've been tooling up magnet structures, been tooling up cones and surrounds.
So it is going to be your own recipe of baskets
totally, yes.
and magnets and design. Yeah. Okay.
Even to the extent that some of the baskets I'm looking at doing a specific new tool for those. I mean, normally you just take the nearest basket that kind of works for you, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And then you're forced to tool them. So you have to come up with tooling money for that.
So now, do you have any kind of is it too early to give us any kind of a target for when we might get to hear at least a prototype? Not a full introduction, perhaps, but when you might be able to release some ideas when they're going to be available?
My boss.
I'm just trying to help people understand when we can expect these new toys from you, buddy. I'm not picking on you.
Later this year.
So you think it'll be before the end of the year?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. That wasn't so hard. That's kind of great. And you're looking at that $2,000 to $3,000 price point for that product at this point?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, things could change, certainly.
Yes.
But I'm not holding you to anything. I just want to let people know when you're going to be able to get a chance to hear these things. Now, do I assume, knowing Mobile Fidelity, that they will do a unique product launch for this? A special event?
I think we have to now, because you look at the calendar year now, and Munich's uncertain for a lot of people. And there was this show, which is potentially the biggest of the year.
It's the biggest in the
and
US.
There's still an uncertainty as to how many people are going to exhibit here and attend here.
Yeah.
But after that in the US, everything else is a small show.
Yeah, really.
And regional show.
Yeah.
So the opportunity doesn't exist after now to make some big show announcement.
So you might do
I think what we're going to have to do is we chose to announce me
now. Sure.
And then
makes sense. Yeah.
With a promise of the speaker before the end of the year. And we'll have to do some events where we bring people into our places to show them the product.
Sure.
And then see how it goes for everybody to hear them.
Right.
And I don't really know what that opportunity is for the rest of the year.
Sure.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Now, some people may have thought, since they heard that you're now with MoFi, that you moved to Chicago. That is not the case. Andrew would not move to Chicago.
Sorry to Chicagoans, but I wasn't going to give my sunshine in.
Well, tell them where your office is now, buddy.
Oh, Beverly Hills.
It's a 5-minute walk from your house? 10-minute walk from your house?
30-minute walk.
Oh, 30. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah.
That's a nice amount of exercise each day. So it's a half-hour walk in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Half-hour walk, home in the sunshine, into the pool to cool off.
Yes.
This is the life.
Beverly Hills. Look at this. This Brit has gone totally LA on us, man. This is insane.
I couldn't quite get 90210. I'm one digit out. I'm 90211.
Oh, well.
But
still.
if it's good enough for Nobu Matsuhisa and his restaurant, which I'm next door to.
Oh, you're next to a Nobu? Oh, man.
I call it my company cafeteria. Not that I can afford to.
Well, yeah, well, still. When we were all doing CES, did you go to Nobu at the Hard Rock? Did you ever go to that one?
No.
It's a nice restaurant, really nice restaurant.
But I hear.
I've not been to
I
LA.
guess going off topic, but a lot of people say that his original one, the one I'm next door to, is still
the
sort of
best.
his best, and certainly in LA. So I mean, I don't need to go to car shows any longer. I just step out at lunchtime.
It's
into
on the
car
road,
park,
right on the streets.
And I look at all
Yeah.
the cars.
Andrew, buddy, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Okay.
We really appreciate it. Best of success to you. I'm not at all worried. It's not. I'd say good luck, but you certainly don't need luck at this point in your career. You know what you're doing. I am anxious for the launch event. I hope we get to see some of these things before the end of the year as predicted. And I can't
Sounding
wait
like
to.
my boss again now.
No, I'm just saying. I hope to do it, buddy. I really do.
Yeah,
so.
me too. I want to show people what I've been doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just as
Well, you've been,
anxious.
you've had to stay silent about this since you were mentioning to me. It's been about a year and a half.
A year and a half of
Yeah.
me not talking about myself has been really tough.
It was so funny. Who was I talking to at MoFi today that said, "Yeah, we're damn surprised the secret kept." I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But Andrew, thank you again, sir. It's so much fun. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so very much, Andrew. Such a fun cat to chat with. And what an interesting move for Andrew. I really believe that this move will represent an amazing fit. And honestly, I'm more than just a bit curious to see what new and amazing loudspeaker designs he'll be developing next for all of the music lovers out there. What a great match. The MoFi brand and Andrew Jones. I don't think it could get much better for either company. Now, rest assured, when the launch event takes place later this year, I'll cover it here on the channel. Finally, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any new episodes, and don't hesitate to post your comments or questions. I truly love hearing from you. You may also like and share links to your favorite episodes with your friends or on social media. Information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Guys, please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.